seems like there's counter rallies to our protests. So the average Australian is protesting to defend their right to have a job and have a roof over their head and not be invaded with immigrants. And those immigrants are hitting the streets to violently attack us in the streets, maybe working for the government.
Top brass from Victoria Police say Melbourne has had a gutful after a counter rally to anti-immigrant.
Oh, okay. So the police they speak for Melbourne, do they? Yeah, like they spoke for Melbourne during the lockdowns and the police taking everyone's rights away during the lockdowns. Okay, gotcha. You see the propaganda?
Immigration demonstrations descended into chaos. 2 police officers have been treated in hospital suffering injury.
Personally, I don't care about the police officers. Were any of the freedom protesters injured? Because they're the ones that matter. The police are working for the state. They are officially our enemy. So I don't care. And this is how the media only cares about their people. The media and the government and the police and the military and the surveillance state. It's all, they're all working against the people who fought and died for this country and their descendants.
After being pelted with rocks, bottles and fruit. Riot police pushed back.
Oh no, someone threw some fruit. We've got the police in Australia have had the easiest job of any police force worldwide. They're the most overpaid, underworked, and the safest worldwide. Yet that's not enough. Yeah, okay.
Firing rubber bullets and capsicum spray into the crowd.
Flashbangs, capsicum spray, rocks and fruit hurled. As anti-racism protesters clashed with police in a counter-rally against the second anti-immigration March for Australia demonstration. At least one person arrested.
One person being arrested is violence? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not much. It's not much at all.
At times, public order officers pushing the groups further apart. Police appalled at the behaviour of 40 to 50 counter-protesters who they say threw projectiles at officers on Swanston Street.
This is what was thrown at police today, and I think...
Oh no! They threw a rock! This is like Palestine. It's like, okay, we get to genocide everybody. What the hell? They play the victim. They throw a rock. Yeah, how about you get a real job and you go into another country where it's really violent? And that's the problem with these police, because the next generation of police are going to be dealing with real violence. Because as this society starts to crumble under immigration, everyone's going to be radically more violent. White men will become terrorists or seen as terrorists within our own country because we'll have to fight back, the same as the Palestinians are doing it. And we're going to have to push back as much as we can just to stay alive in this country. And these police, they got it easy at the moment. Things are only going to get more nasty as we become more desperate as a people. And, you know, the longer you wait, the harder it's going to be to fight back against the government. That's all I'm saying for the Australian people that are trying to push back. It started with Pauline Hanson and voting, and then she got arrested, and then she got corrupted. You know, now you think you can vote your way out of it still. Now people have realized that they need to protest. I think the time for talk and voting is over. There needs to be something far more radical to try and change this, because we're in a lot of trouble.
Melbourne had had a gutful.
A female officer left with a suspected broken hand. A male officer sustained a cut to his leg.
You know, we deployed force against these people and...
A bunch of princesses. It's unbelievable. Well, it's unbelievable that we're supposed to care about them when they've never given a shit about us. I don't think I've ever heard of, the issue here is the only times I've ever needed to call the police when something had happened and I needed the police, but I only needed the police because I don't have the right to carry an arm. I don't have the right to carry a gun. I don't have the right to have a machine gun at home and protect myself and my property. Also, if I was to defend myself out in public with somebody, there is a likelihood that I get arrested even though they attacked me first, because the rules don't make any sense, because it's a police state and that's the way they design it. So that you can, while you're being stabbed to death, you have to call triple O and wait for someone to turn up and hope that they arrive. And the people that these police are protecting, the government, are letting in more and more violent criminals from Africa that are bringing machetes to the and guns. So, you can hit the streets now, or you can wait until we become white men fighting back against the terrorist state, like what's happening in Palestine at the moment.
Rightly so, in my view. It was a force at the level nearly that we had at the Land Forces Defence.
As tensions flared on
Cry
the steps of
baby.
Parliament, the leader of a self-described nationalist organisation called for an end to what they say is mass migration.
What happens when we lose the absolute majority in this country that our forefathers built?
Views that those gathered against them say have no place on Melbourne Street.
Yep. Don't tell me the Aboriginals they want more immigration. Oh man, you guys are so dumb. Imagine if the Aboriginals are out there saying more immigration. Yeah, flood us with more immigrants. You know that Aboriginals are going to be put in the same basket as Africans now. So every time an African commits a crime, it's going to taint what it really means to be an Aboriginal moving forward now. And all of the peaceful, behavior, in my opinion, I lived in an Aboriginal town many times before, and mostly Aboriginals are cool. Africans are not cool, and all of the violence that's moving forward, they're gonna be judged and stereotyped as if they're the same. So if they're out there protesting this, they have to be retarded.
They're holding a demonstration that is one of hate and one of racism.
Police say most of the
That type of human being, this thing that we just
them
saw,
say have no place on Melbourne streets.
They're holding a demonstration.
this is the type of person who doesn't contribute anything to Australian society at all. All they do is preach hate. They are the hateful people. They are the ones that are creating all of the problems. They're the racist ones that hate white men. And many of them are foreign agents, by the way. They're actually deliberately trying to cause distrust and divide and destroy society. And they're the same people that when it starts to collapse are going to play victim, and they're going to get the first parachute out. And this is something that we need to stop. We need to stop women not being accountable for their own actions. In 10 years' time, when things get out of control, this society starts collapsing, and we say, I told you so, the same way all of those people said, I told you so during COVID. Are these people going to be held accountable? No, they're not. They're going to just jump to the other side and play the victim, and they'll be the first people to access all of the government benefits and all of the parachutes out of it. The same way they have all this time to do all this stuff because the government is helping them, even though inflation, she's probably been jabbed 1 million times during COVID as well.
Demonstration that is one of hate and one of racism.
Police say most of the
She hasn't travelled, has she?
protesters were peaceful.
There is a huge police presence here today, but even they are being stretched, so they try to monitor these two rival protest groups. Now,
You got to understand, most of the old and white people that are trying to push back here, they're getting a bit old and they're running out of time. As far as I'm concerned, the time for talk is over. and the time for being radical is now. Because we're just going to run out of time, and then we're going to have all these racists in the government for no reason attacking us and trying to kill us and destroy our lives. It's really what's happening here. These people are actually peaceful, and the problem is, you got to understand, they're so peaceful that the propaganda is slandering them. And this is how the world really works, and people don't quite understand that, is that the most peaceful people are often the most slandered because people are scared to attack someone who's truly violent. And this is why blacks get away with it, because they're truly violent and people are scared to criticize them. This is why criticizing Islam is totally okay, because the Muslims are peaceful. But when it's someone truly violent and truly dangerous, like these Africans that will actually attack someone that criticizes black people, people shut up real fast. And that's why white Australians are being slandered. It's because you're too peaceful and you're too weak, and you think you can peacefully protest and vote your way out of it, as the country slowly, your grip over the power of the country slowly being pulled off that flag, and soon you'll just be genocided like every other society throughout history. And this is what's going to happen. So let's not pretend that things are going to change. White people are going to be persecuted in this country moving forward, and it's going to be brutal. It's going to be violent, and the government's going to come down on us so hard. And you're not prepared for what's coming. It's going to be brutal. Because don't worry, we'll just wait. Because when all these boomers are dead, and when the millennials are too old to do anything about it, the next generation is going to be they're going to be crucified. And you might actually have crucifixions. They might bring it back. They might bring the guillotine. White guy looked at me the wrong way, hang him. Like, this is the future of Australia, and that's why we will become terrorists, because we'll be fighting for our freedoms. The hatred against us is so bad and unwarranted that is what the future will be. This is not a conspiracy. This is not an exaggeration.
Moving through the city.
Australia needs to become more patriotic, I think. I'm against mass immigration. I think that we need to put levels on it.
Yeah, all the oldies will be gone soon. Where were the oldies during COVID? They didn't listen to us then. 5 years has passed and things are getting worse. Inflation's out of control. They won't listen to us at all. They're just going to ride this wave until the country totally collapses. And the 18-year-old white guys today are going to be so screwed by the time they're trying to get a career going in their 30s and 40s. They're going to be so wrecked. It's actually kind of sad, the future. I can see the future. It's really clear what is going to happen.
And Melbourne is an anti-fascist, anti-racist.
And you got all these racist scumbags like this, because women can jump both sides. It's funny. White women will say, oh, they're so racist, while pretending that they didn't benefit from the white society that built everything. Because they can jump the fence, can't they? And people will accept them anywhere. And this is why they shouldn't have any political power, because they're the ones that are causing all of the violence. The fact that you want to go out and counter protest is evidence that you are evil. Like, these people are evil.
This town.
Right-wing fascism rising all across the world.
Police.
Fascism. Oh, okay, buddy. You're saying
Immigration.
Did you hear that guy?
We need to put levels on it.
And Melbourne is an anti-fascist, anti-racist town.
Right-wing fascism, right?
Oh, magnificent. You got an Italian hat on. You got an accent from where? Europe or something. And you're in my country telling me what to do in my country. Yeah? That's what these scumbags are. It's like me going, I'm not going to your country telling you how to run your country. It's because they're parasites. The wealth of Australia is so great that they're willing to... This is a crime, as far as I'm concerned. You're a foreign agent protesting the rights of citizens within their own country, the country that their forefathers built, and you think that you can slander them and call them fascists? Like, if this doesn't make your blood boil and want you to go and burn down the whole city and go, okay, well, if you want this, let's burn it to the ground. You build a new city, you scumbag piece of shit. Like, this should, how dare you go to someone else's country and tell them how to run it? That's the definition of fascism, you scumbag.
All across the world.
Police appealing for calm as divisions widen. Harvey Biggs, 10 News.
Yeah, you just look at them. A lot of the people protesting, they're like this guy. You're too old, you're too fat, you can't actually fight back. A lot of them are probably broke already, and you're now expendable. That's the reality of this. You're expendable. You are useless to the state, and you're costing the state too much. And so what they're going to do is they're going to flood you with a more, a new generation of immigrants that will do what they're told a little bit more than you. You think because your forefathers died to fight for their freedom and your freedom that you have rights. But throughout history, what has always happened is the governments have always become massive bureaucracies, and they've always stolen money out of the economy for whatever reason, to enrich themselves at the top. And as soon as the people who fought and died for the country die off, maybe their kids get a good run. But after that, it's game over. You have to actually fight the government, or they start a new war. So Australia's in one of those situations where we either fight back immigration now, because the government's not going to be able to throw us into a war. We got such a large land mass, and we need to stop immigrants getting in here. And what is required, nobody's willing to do it. So it won't be done, and it will just be a slow grind. So anyway, my prediction is that you guys are going to protest. You're going to whinge a little bit. Nothing's going to get done. Anything radical like burning a car or even, throwing a rock is going to be seen in the most extreme ways. And, the government's just going to let you yell and scream and puff your chest out a little bit. But we all know the power that they have. They showed us what they're capable of doing during COVID. So, that was clearly a dry run for doing things that we didn't want them to do, and proving to themselves and testing to see if any of us would be able to push back. The fact that no one pushed back during COVID is evidence to the government now that we're not going to do shit, and so they're going to do whatever they want.